All right, like every game, you always go out there to win, but I was very disappointed in the start again. Drop passes, not. We threw the ball in this game because we ran it so much during the week. I just want to evaluate quarterbacks versus an offensive lineman in the passing game more than I did in the running game. So there wasn't much emphasis on the running game in this one. But, again, too many drop passes to start ball games that kills drives. Defensively, I thought we had a really good start to the game in the trenches, and then missed as the reserves started coming in. We misfit a couple of runs. But overall, you grade the tape. So either get exposed or exposure. Some guys really stepped up. I mean, Pat O'Connor showed. Grant showed a little bit. D. Delaney showed a little bit. Not too many guys offensively. Cyril showed up a little bit, having been hurt all week with the injury. But we'll grade the tape and see who really played on special teams. Obviously, Pinion made that field goal in practice a bunch, so it's like, all right, let's see if he can make it in the game. To bed, too.
Can you speak to the play of Khalil Davis?
Khalil, he made a couple of plays. Yeah, he showed up. Really didn't see him on special teams. But, yeah, he had one sack and a couple of pressures.
Looked like O.J. had a couple of early drops. How concerning is that?
Yeah, not concerning because he came back and caught the ball on some grimier ones, but those were easy ones. And, he's made those in practice. And, there's a time when you got to switch gloves, too, when they get too wet. And I think the one just squirted right through his hands. But after that, he caught everything. So it's not concerning.
Does Joe Tryon Shoika continue to stand out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to say any more about Joe. He does what he does.
Normally when you play the 4 preseason games, the starters can go into the second half, one of those. That's not going to happen this year, is it?
Yeah, they're going to have next week. Yeah, because we got so long before we play. I mean, we can't go against Dallas, who's really good, and all of a sudden play game speed. I mean, we got to have some game speed under our belt before we show up against the Cowboys.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the return game today? Was there an improvement from last week?
Not really. Jalen made a couple guys miss on the one, but we're still not blocking very well. We handled the gunners really well, but the Vices, they won, but our inside guys didn't hold up well enough. And kickoff returns, we're not blocking anybody. So that's where I'm most frustrated to see these young guys improving and they're not doing it.
What can you say about Kyle's night tonight?
It's a learning experience. Kyle's got a long time to grow.
Bruce, the second half of a preseason game, most of those guys aren't making the cut for you. Does it concern you at all that that's what you see from them as a whole in the second half of a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's one or two guys. Grant made a couple of plays. He might have made it. There's a few guys that I know Pat made it in this game because he's just done it. Whether Khalil has enough on tape, but there's guys fighting for jobs that they showed up in this game. The scoreboard doesn't show up, but I'm not looking at the score. I'm looking at individuals.
Last year you didn't have a preseason, and you talked a lot about how many reps a lot of those guys missed. Who are some of the guys you think have benefited the most from playing in a preseason this year that maybe didn't get that last year?
Well, guys like Tyler Johnson, Keyshawn Vaughn, Scotty, all those young receivers, tight ends. Our offensive line, that's the ones that played. Kappa got some tonight, and he just needs the reps. Everybody's benefiting.
Coach, did you get more out of those 2 practices for your starters than you would have if you played them tonight?
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Yeah, we got a lot of really, really good work Wednesday and Thursday. There was no need for them to hit again tonight.
Coach, that's a pretty good football team out there on the other side, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a playoff team, and they're a good football team. I like the way we practiced against them Thursday.
Bruce, it feels like we've talked a lot about drops lately, and I know you say they just got to catch the football better, but is there something you look at practice planning-wise, put them on the jugs machine, something you got to do differently to get them to catch the ball?
That's individual. That's individual. I mean, O.J. stays on the jugs machine, so it's not helping him. The jugs is just that's more confidence building for you're standing still catching a ball. It's not what you're doing. You're playing. You're running and catching a ball. So You just got to make the plays. I mean, like I said, if it was Mike, Chris, AB, then I'd worry about it. OJ's shaking off a hell of a lot of rust.
Bruce, it looked like he got through things without injury. Is that?
As far as I know, yeah. As far as I know, we came out pretty clean.
Coach, about the officials' decisions, especially the Tyron Hudson's fumble, what was their explanation for you?
I left that up to New York, man. I ain't got no comment.
2 weeks in a row now for you with these calls.
No comment.